Hello, how are you? This is Peter Smith, who is doing this assignment for EDU 722 with Dr. Scanga. And just wanted to talk about a community project that we worked on in the communities that surround me. And I thought it was a very good example of how communities can work together and how stakeholders in various communities can work together. Now, if you look at the first screen, I'm doing a screenshot versus a Prezi or a PowerPoint, because what happens is I make the PowerPoint and I end up having to do a screencast over it and post that to YouTube anyway. So really, I'm eliminating the middleman. So there's going to be a YouTube link that most people can get to on my YouTube channel. I'm a YouTuber. I have 150 plus movies on YouTube. I love making movies. But anyway, the story is this, is that Hugh J. Boyd Jr. Elementary School is the school that I went to, and it's the school I graduated from, and it's a school I worked in, and now I'm on the Board of Education of that school. So 18 years I've been on it. I had to leave teaching because I got a better job at the borough of Seaside Heights. It paid more money. So I left teaching and I went on the board, and that was ages ago, in 2003. But anyway, Hugh J. Boyd Elementary School, what is actually built by Hugh J. Boyd, used to be the superintendent, and additionally my father, who was the president of the Board of Education for many, many years. And if you look here to the next slide here, it talks about dedication of the Harry M. Smith Childhood Center, and that's my father. And those are my brothers. Thank you very much. And I'm right here on the end here. Right there, that's me. But anyway, we were very proud of it, and it was in 2006. But it added an early childhood center to our school. Now, mind you, our kindergarten and what was our fourth grade had bathrooms in them, and that's a requirement for preschool. So both the new structure that we built in between 2003 and 2006 was, it took a while, was 2 rooms with bathrooms. So we had 4 rooms that were eligible to be preschools. Now, Governor Phil Murphy, who's the governor of New Jersey, had a pilot program where he was initiating preschool programs for early childhood education. Now, it was a pilot program that was year to year, and what happened is that we didn't have to do it every year. It was a year-to-year thing. So if it didn't work out year 1, we didn't have to do it year 2. And because of the COVID pandemic, we ended up not doing it again. But it did have its successes, and I just want to show you why. Now, Lavallette is the next town over from us. It's the next borough. And they have a very, very beautiful school there. And Lavallette School does not have the room for a preschool. And neither do the other towns I'm going to mention, which are Seaside Park Elementary School and also Island Heights Elementary School, which are boroughs close by to us. Now, it was the idea of Trian Parlapanies, Tommy Parlapanies, friend of mine. It's this guy right here. And he's my long-term friend. I went to Central Regional with him, and now he's the superintendent of schools there. But anyway, Tommy had the idea of the state was going to reimburse us for the money that it would cost to educate these students. And it was a way for Hugh J. Boyd or Seaside Heights School District, which are interchangeable in a way. Although Hugh J. Boyd is the name of the school, Seaside Heights District is the name of the board. But anyway, Tommy thought that, and by the way, he's Dr. Parlapanies, Dr. Parlapanies EDD. And anyway, Tommy thought it'd be a good way for us to make revenue, and it did work that way. But anyway, he was the one that initiated it, and he, it was a lot of rigmarole. We had to change around a lot of the classrooms, which, caused some strife at first, but we lived with it. So anyway, but the real convincing had to be done through people in the other towns, because it's hard to explain, but Seaside Heights does not have the reputation of, say, Lavallette or Island Heights or Seaside Park. Even though they surround us, Seaside Heights is a business community with an entertainment district, and it's really sort of a place where you go for entertainment. It's not really a residential community, which the other ones are. So what happens is this. Years ago, Seaside Heights School was, Seaside Heights itself was a premier resort in New Jersey, and everyone who went to school at our beautiful school that we built in 1967 down by the bay either lived here year-round, owned businesses here, or worked for the town. And it was a very close-knit school, maybe 100 students. And Mr. Hugh J. Boyd ran it with an iron fist. He wouldn't let you walk on the lawn. He wouldn't let you walk on the gym floor. He was the gym coach. He was everything. He was really an example of a transformational leader. He got his hands dirty and was not afraid to do it because he loved that school. And then, incidentally, my father, who was the board president in 1977, named the school after him, along with the other board members, of course, because it's not no man's an island. There's 5 members of the board. But they all agreed to do it. And anyway, so when this came about, I reached out to friends in Lavallette, which I have. Like I said, it's a community. We are close-knit communities that are different, but we've always done things together in some ways. And it just turns out that we had something called Island Junior Baseball League, so I knew a few people in Lavallette. And I worked with 2 of my best friends, Chrissa and Barbara Golubowski, that lived in West Point Island in Lavallette. And I used to go over there a lot. And her husband was in politics, and he knew my father at one point in time. So we were very friendly and used to talk a lot about different things in Lavallette and Lavallette politics. And it just so happens that later in time, I was a reporter for the Island Gazette newspaper, which is now defunct. And I'm out of the job as my journalism career is over pretty much. But I had to go down and cover the Walter LaCicero campaign. And we affectionately and lovingly call him King Wally, because he is the mayor of Lavallette for life, I think, until he decides to not do it, I think. Because, and it's really interesting because he had a real tough campaign at first, and I covered it. And for some reason, with my knowledge of Lavallette and everything, I just caught on to what the story was and really ran with it. I enjoyed covering Lavallette. I enjoyed covering the politics. And I became subsequently friends with Mayor LaCicero, who eventually became the mayor, and Rob Lamb, who is a lawyer and very close friends with Wally LaCicero. They were cops together in Lavallette for years. And it's interesting because Christian LaCicero is married to my best friend's little sister. That's Wally's son. And when we used to go to parties and things, Adam LaCicero was always like my buddy that I hung out with because he was single, and it just worked out that way. And one night we met a girl named Carly, and now Carly and Adam are married with a bunch of kids. And it's interesting because both of them have children of the age of preschool, and the first person I wrote about this, aside from Wally probably, was Carly, and said, you have to put your daughter into, or not sure if it's her daughter or her son, it's escaping me right now. But you have to put your child into this program, because if it's good enough for Wally LaCicero's, grandchildren, it's good enough for anybody. Because, like I said, he is a very, very influential leader. And then I had to call my friend Gail Coleman, who is this lady right here. I don't know why I didn't make a bigger picture of her. But Gail Coleman is my friend from Seaside Park. She's on the Seaside Heights Council. And they call her the mayor of Roosterville. She has a very, very big following. And, pretty much what Gail says goes. So I called her and convinced her it was a good idea. And like I said, no man is an island. We're boroughs that are very, very close together. And in my paper, you'll see that years ago in the 1880s, if you had less than 4 square miles and 4,000 people, you could create an independent borough. And that happened in all the communities that I'm talking about. Seaside Heights, Seaside Park, Lavallette, and Island Heights. They all became boroughs. And that boroughs are independent run. They have a mayor and council, and they're self-governing. So they're not part of a bigger township. So anyway, using my friends and everything, I talked them into it. But also, in addition, I had to convince Mayor Tony Vaz of Seaside Heights that it was a good idea. Now, Mayor Vaz was the hardest sell, because he was worried that if we started this program, we wouldn't be able to stop it. And that wasn't true. And in the end, Mayor Vaz, who was a wonderful mayor and very visionary, a transitional leader, without any doubt, has a vision for the town, and sees that vision through. And many things have changed for the better since he became mayor a few years ago. I think in 2015 he became mayor. It just so happened that the mayor resigned. My brother, who was a councilman for like 2 weeks, was the ex facto mayor. He didn't want to do it, and Tony Vaz became the mayor because Tony did want to do it. And it would not be to my brother's suit to be the mayor. But Tony has a vision, and anyway, he went for it and is very supportive. So anyway, let's go to here, to this next one. Oh, it's another picture of Gail. It was a better picture. But anyway, long story short is that the people of Lavallette and Seaside Park and Island Heights had to be convinced. I really don't have much influence in Lavallette. They're not really contiguous with us like Seaside Park and Lavallette are. So I had to, I don't really, even though I know a few members of the board there, I didn't really interact with them. Dr. Parlapanies did. And we convinced them. And in September of 2019, we offered our 4 classrooms into individual preschools for a fee that was reimbursed by the state, because it was one of Governor Murphy's agenda. And unfortunately, it really worked out. It was successful. People really liked it. But the pandemic truncated the year, and it never really finished. And Carly LaCicero, I spoke to her after, and she said it was so regretful that it ended, because she had so much good experience with the Seaside Heights situation. Like, it's funny because a lot of people with a little more money send their children to Lavallette school when they're a little bit older versus Seaside Heights. It doesn't seem to have the reputation that it should have. Years ago, it had a wonderful reputation, but now, for some reason, it doesn't. But it would have been $5,000 to send the children to Faith Lutheran daycare, and once they realized that it was nothing to go to Seaside Heights, or very inexpensive, because I think there might have been something where Lavallette had to pay tuition, but it was like half the cost. We convinced them to come, and we had wonderful teachers, Mrs. Finlow and Mrs. Kathy Trinter and Mrs. Hagan, and I forget who the other one was, but we offered a good program, treated the children wonderfully. They interacted with the other students, and that created sort of a synergy because now they know each other. Whereas Seaside Park and Lavallette and Island Heights students wouldn't know each other at all, but now they're going to grow up the rest of their lives thinking, wow, I know so-and-so from Island Heights. We went to preschool together. It, it just builds on it. Even though from kindergarten on they're going to go to different schools, Seaside Park does not have its own school. Seaside Park, you can either choose to go to Toms River Regional or to Lavallette School. And most people go to Lavallette, it's closer. Lavallette has a beautiful school and a very good program. But when I thought of a community partnership that was really interesting and different and unique and involved lots of different communities and lots of different stakeholders, I thought of this. And it goes along with the paper that I wrote, and I hope it sums it up the way I want to explain it, and it really is or was a successful program. Unfortunately, we're not having it this year because of the pandemic, but who knows? It's on Governor Murphy's plate if he gets reelected possibly, which is, who knows? Maybe he'll bring it back. We're not sure. But I just wanted to thank you for listening. I wanted to, explain like we're supposed to for Saint Leo University. And one of the things that we do at Saint Leo is community. We have a core value of community. There's 6 core values, and one of them is community. And this, I think, exemplifies the coming together of 4 communities that otherwise would have no real exposure to each other. And I think that's really valuable. And but anyway, thank you very much. Have a super nice day, and see you soon. Bye-bye.